Hey everyone, welcome to ALB programming lesson. Well, in the fourth lesson, we'll come up with a data model course like this. Then in the fifth lesson, we'll try to convert that data model into such a Java class. See? We have this course name, course attendant, and etc. We also learned that the data type of the name is string, and the data type of the attendant is int. But what is int? What is string? This sticky note-like thing is trying to explain to me what is string, but it looks way too sophisticated for me. In the fifth and sixth lesson, we mentioned numbers and text in Java programming language. In the rest of the lesson, we'll look deeper into them. Let's see int. Int is integer. I guess you've learned this definition in your math class. We can use integer numbers to represent people or items. For example, students have student ID, company staff has staff ID, citizens also have ID numbers. Another usage of numbers is to count how many or how much. In that case, we also need arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But we will leave the second usage in the future lesson. Attendant or student is represented with integers, just like assigning a student ID to each student. As you have new students enrolled, the student IDs need to increase. But the question is, can we increment students' ID without limit? Maybe not. What is the maximum value that the student ID can take? 2 millions or 2 billions? Let's find that out. Well, we've opened the debugger perspective in this previous lesson, and we're currently in the debug mode. Let's quit the debug mode first of all. Go to the menu bar, click Window, go to Perspective, click Close Perspective. Then expand the course demo project. Let's create a new class, which is like our lab, where we can test our code. Right-click on the source folder, New, Class, class name, let's say number demo. You can name it whatever makes sense to you. Take this option, because we need main method, then click Finish. Now in the new Java class, here's a line of comment generated automatically. It's useless. Let's just delete it. And let's define an integer variable with initial value equal to 1. We learned another way to write such a statement. We declare a variable. This is declaration. Then we initialize the variable. This is initialization. These two statements together do the same thing as this statement. And let's display the value in the console, just like what we've done in Hello World. Save the file and run the program. This time, let's run this program instead of test.java. Right-click on numberdemo.java, run as Java application. Here you can see number 1. We did the same as the value of this variable, which is specified here. Now let's change this value to something else. Let's say 999999. But it doesn't seem to work. Got an error that says out of range because this value is too big and exceed the limit, exceed the maximum value of the integer. I'll delete some lines. Now the errors are gone. So what exactly is the maximum value of an integer in Java program? Let's find that out. We can print it out in the console. Let's replace it with integer dot. When I input the dot, the Eclipse shows me a whole bunch of options. Let's choose max underscore value. Double click on it. Save the file and run the program. This is the maximum value of Java integer. Let's see. This is larger than 2 billion. So back to the question. We can represent over 2 billion students' ID with an int type variable. But what if an int type variable is not large enough to hold a certain value? For example, you want to represent the distance that light will travel in a few days. We can use long integers to represent those huge astronomical numbers. In Java, we can write long, which is a data type similar to int. Let's declare a variable long1. And the initial value is some nice, but at the end, remember to add the letter L and a semicolon. Don't forget the suffix L, or Java will treat it as an integer and throws an error. Also, it seems I can add as many lines as I want. Oops, not really. I think I passed the limit. I deleted 9. Error is gone. Again, my question is, what is the maximum value of long type variable? We can find it out in a similar way to this. But replace integer by long. Save the file and run the program. This is the maximum value of long integer in Java. Let's see. 1,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, sextillion. So long integers can represent over 9 sextillion numbers, not even counting the negative numbers. To give you a brief summary, numbers can be used in basically 2 areas. They can represent quantity and identification. When they represent quantity, we can do calculation between them, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and etc., which we will learn more in details in the future lesson. When we use numbers to represent identification, we need to consider the range of the data type. For example, we just learned to find out the maximum value of the integers and long integers. Alright, let's learn some cool stuff that we can do with string. Let's create a new class, which is just like another lab, in which we can experiment with some program code. Let's name our class string demo. Also, we need a main method. Well, in the 5th lesson, I mentioned string is text. And as its name implies, it's string of characters. For instance, we can copy some text from here and assign it to a string variable. Let's copy this text. Let's declare a string type variable, str1. Please note that str1 is a variable, and its data type is string. Let's also assign a value to the variable, str1, the variable, equal to. This equal sign is used for assigning a value. Behind the equal sign, type a quotation mark and a semicolon. Between the quotation mark, paste the text you just copied or just type them. Well, I didn't intend to show you this mess. I'll undo it. Let's type some normal text in between the quotation mark. Also, in the console, print out the value of str1. Print out the value of str1. Save the file and run the program. As we have learned, this line of text is the same as the value of this variable, printed out by the console by this method. Also, notice what is printed in the text. If you want to print out str1, put it in a pair of quotation marks, like this. Save the file and run the program. You can see an str1 in the console instead of its value. Well, some of you might be overwhelmed by all of these details, so let's take a minute to review what we've been doing. We're learning about string in Java programming. When we use string, we declare a variable, assign a value, and further use it. Like print line at console, or write it in a file, or write it in a database. So far, we can print some text on the console, but in the future lessons, we will learn to deal with files and database. Well, how can we print text in different lines? For example, here are some empty lines. Add another line. There is a explicit requirements. Add a new line. There's send email. So how can we start a new line in Java? In majority of word processing systems, we simply hit the enter button. Let's try to in Java. Well, it seems like working. Let's save the file and run the program. Sorry, we need to remove the quotation marks surrounding the variable. Save the file and run the program again. Well, it's not quite what I expected. This whole lot of F should be at the new line. Pressing enter button in a quote pair doesn't serve anything. Instead, we use \n to start a new line. Like this. Let's save the file and run the program. See? This whole lot of F is printed out a new line. We call \n line feed. Each line feed starts one new line. Let's add 2 more line feeds. Save the file and run the program. First line has this text. 1 line feed to the next line, another line feed to a new line, 1 more line feed to another new line. This is the line feed, \n. Well, in programming, not just Java programming, We need to be careful when using backslash. It usually goes with the following letters and makes special characters. For example, I'm gonna put a backslash before R, then backslash R will be treated as a special character. Let's see what it does. The R in the front of reminder is gone, and together with the backslash started a new line. See? I'll give you another example of special characters. Double backslash. Let's see what it does. Double backslash prints out backslash. Similarly, 4 backslash prints out 2 backslash. 6 backslashes prints out 3 backslashes. You get the idea. Well, in the 5th lesson, I told you string means text. It's okay for beginners to understand this way, but we are at the next level now. We already learned that string can be text and special characters like backslash n, double backslash, backslash r, and etc. You can actually search special characters in string and see what else you can get. This is a special character. Let's see this plus sign. It's simply connecting this string, and this string, one after another. We also used this plus sign in the previous tutorials. See? Plus sign outside a pair of quotation marks has a special purpose. That is to concatenate strings or link the strings together. But plus sign inside a pair of quotes is nothing special. It's just a normal character. It's just a plus sign. You can try that out yourself. Like save the file, run the program, observe the console, add this, delete that, then save the file, run the program, compare the results before and after adding or deleting stuff. Alright, before finishing this lesson, I'm going to give you a brief summary on this lesson. We've been developing an application described here. So far, the simplest thing I think we can implement is this part, translating those course info into Java code. Then we got this Java class, course. Inside the Java class, there are class variables. We declare each variable with visibility, variable name, data type. We learned this in the 5th lesson. In this lesson, we learned the basics of these two types of variables, string and integer. Well, integers. We've learned two types of integers, int and long. We basically learned one of their usages and their limits. You can rewind the video for more details. Another type of variable, string. As always, declare a string variable with variable name str1 and data type string. Variable name can be almost anything that makes sense to you. It can be str1, str2, abcd, and etc. You can try it by yourself. Value of the string variables can be normal text and special characters like line feed. Special characters consist of a backslash and another character. I encourage you to do your own research regarding special characters. Last but not least, string concatenation. The first plus sign connects the first string to the second and form a new string, which will be connected to the third string by the second plus sign. In the future, you might learn some other ways to manipulate strings, such as taking a substring, trimming, replacing certain characters, comparing, and etc. That's it. Hope you've learned something. In the next lesson, we will learn another important data type, it is date. Thanks for watching. I'll see you there. Peace.